Hello, hi. Thank you for being here. My name is Kaitlyn Michelle, and let's talk life and esoterics, where we have the spiritual overtones, undertones, and every kind of tone. So last week I spoke about Lionsgate, and that was August 8th, 8/8, this past Sunday, and I hope you all had a great day that day. That was my 3-year wedding anniversary. And so I had a very lovely day. I want to cover this week, Friday the 13th, because that's this coming Friday. And it can be potentially a very transformative and creative day if you kind of throw your energy and intention behind that. I have something that I'm planning to do on Friday the 13th that can potentially be very transformative, and I'm hoping to talk about that next week after the fact. And I told just a couple people that I'm doing it, and when they found out that I'm doing it on Friday the 13th, they were like, wait, are you sure? And really, there's no reason to be scared. And I think I mentioned this probably in the first episode, but I am a certified numerologist, and so I think I might have just a little bit of a unique perspective on Friday the 13th, because personally, I really think that the meaning has been twisted in the popular imagination, and I think that's because it's really a female type of number. And in fact, Friday the 13th used to be considered the day of the goddess, a day to worship the divine feminine that lives in all of us, and also to honor the cycles of creation, death, and rebirth, which really sounds a lot like the Hindu goddess Kali. But I think this is just like the divine feminine in general. Also, another random tidbit, 13 is the average number of periods that a woman has in a year. And that, of course, correlates to the average number of moon cycles a year, 13. And the moon is also widely considered a female energy. And then there's the day, Friday. And Friday is ruled by Venus. And this is a planet very closely associated with the feminine. It's the planet of beauty, of love, pleasure, artistry, romance, warmth, affection, sensuality, sexuality, luxury, relationships, and non-linearity. So I think this got twisted all up in our culture and our imaginations, which is an issue really that happens on the fourth dimension, our collective consciousness. And I think this happened with the arrival or institution of more patriarchal times a few thousand years ago. We can see this in the Judeo-Christian religions, where Friday is it's said to be the day Eve offered Adam the forbidden fruit, which is also the day that Adam got kicked out of paradise. So, I mean, I think there's this grudge against women, or at least the female archetype. So all of this together, I haven't even gotten to the numerology yet, but so really it's the fear and suppression of the feminine energy, I think, that has created Friday the 13th in painted it in such a catastrophic light. So let's dig into the numbers a little bit more. And first, we can look at the components of the number 13. That would be the 1 and the 3. The 1 is about what's new beginnings, new cycles, new ideas, something original. Once flashes of insight come knocking, this archetypal energy wastes absolutely no time putting everything into motion to manifest whatever this is into reality. And there's a great deal of courage and boldness and will and self-motivation and ambition here. And then there's the 3, and this is the integration of the masculine, which would be most described by the number 1, and the feminine, which is most described by the number 2. And the 3 is bestowed in this way with both the yang and the yin. In a way, it can be thought of as the child of the 2, because the 3 archetype can really be childlike, in the sense that it really delights in the realms of the imagination and communication. And the beauty from these realms is what the archetypal 3 uses to lift everyone's spirits, including their own. And in this regard, it can be quite a catalyst, actually. Really lifting up other people's energy, lifting up the world. And because 3 also represents material balance, you can think of like 3 legs on a stool. It can weather crises the best out of really any archetype. And this is from an ability to find the joy or humor or just whatever tiny little shimmer, glimmer it can in a situation or after the fact, even if it's okay, well, that contributed to my self-development. So really, self-expression, words, self-development, optimism, pleasure, kindness, warmth, health, and sociability all stem from the number 3. So now let's look at 13 itself. And in numerology, we consider the 13 a karmic debt number. 13, 14, 16, and 19 are all karmic debt numbers. And I know the term karmic debt sounds really heavy. Sometimes it can be, but really what it actually means is that it is such an important aspect to get comfortable with and to master. And if we don't, and that's in our chart somewhere, for example, it'll keep rearing its head with similar lessons over and over and over until you fully understand it. And that could be quite annoying, or it could be heavy like that. That's just kind of what the karmic debt number is, but it doesn't have to be heavy. It just means it's important. And the 13 is asking us to shed our hard exteriors, our routines, a sense of order, in order for us to embrace the joy of spontaneous self-expression and creativity. It's as simple as that. The reason why this may be really hard or scary from the numerological perspective is because these lessons are more like the ooey gooey center of a very rigid exterior of the number 4. The 13 reduces to a 4. That's 1 plus 3. And the 4 is a thoroughly masculine number. It's very much like put your nose to the grindstone, just look down and keep on keeping on. Don't rock the boat. Let's try to do what we can to create the most stability and security, and let's not move outside the box. And this is the number that I at least most associate with patriarchal type of energies. So here, the 3, which is the magic that arises from the union of masculine and feminine, and the 1, a bold, out-of-the-box creative energy, combine to conceive a major creative undercurrent. And this undercurrent really threatens to overthrow the 4's preoccupation with stability, predictability, and order. But the funny thing is, the 4 is just too stubborn to realize that this is the way forward to its highest and best expression, to its best chance at happiness. The 1 and the 3 are the keys to transformation. So the number 13 reminds us that we must give credence to the fertility of our imaginations and self-expression. And this is what brings joy to our lives and lifts up society as a whole. The fact that this has been twisted into a doomsday number, I think, speaks volumes about our fear of life itself, our fear of living. So, with that in mind, I hope this puts a new perspective on Friday the 13th. Let me know how you plan on harnessing this creative undercurrent, this opportunity for transformations on Friday. You can put it in the comments wherever this ends up. Apple iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is that you're listening to this. I will seek it out. I'll read it and respond. Okay, so let's continue along the lines of transformation, especially spiritual transformation, as being lighthearted and fun. This is the 3 energy, really. The lightheartedness, the fun. There's a lot more to the 3 energy. But the 3 is also what I associate with self-development. And it kind of came to my attention this past week or last week. I just thought, why does it seem like in order to be considered quote unquote spiritual, we have to be serious all the time, or we have to make ourselves seem like we're always up in the clouds all the time, 100% of the time. I feel like we're supposed to laugh, right? The whole point is to raise our vibration. At least that's my take on spirituality and my soul development. I'm trying to raise my vibration to improve myself and do the work that my soul needs to do while I'm walking around on this planet. And laughing is one of the best vibration boosters. I think that's why we hear stories of people reversing terminal illnesses all the time just by watching funny videos for a few days or weeks or months or something like that. I think laughing is healing, and it helps to put our body, mind, and spirit in resonance. And I think it's important when we're thinking about spirituality, which, spirituality is a very broad term, but for lack of a better term, I'm just going to stick with it. I think it's important that we don't forget about our 3D reality, our material reality, when we're being spiritual. We're not trying to escape the earth. We're not trying to escape our lives. We're here. And just being here is a spiritual experience. And so I think it's best if we just focus on putting everything in resonance, our body, mind, and spirit. Okay, so you might be wondering, why did this even come up? I had kind of an extraordinary experience last week, but it really sprang out of a kind of absurd situation. And it was in the dream state. I'll say that first. So I was asleep. I was dreaming, and this happened after I meditated. I woke up in the middle of the night because I fell asleep nursing my son at 7, and so my body is just used to not having a whole lot of sleep. So then I was wide awake at 2:30 in the morning, and so I just decided to go downstairs and meditate. and then maybe that would help me go back to sleep, which it did. And so this is me going back to sleep after that meditation.